You've just accessed Hardware is Forever, your source for the expert insights, ideas, and innovations you need to do more in the electronics manufacturing industry. From optimization to operations, join us as we put the pieces together for a better approach to manufacturing. Let's go.
Welcome back to Hardware is Forever. I'm Chris Bentliff. Jay Patel, the CEO at Amtech, is with us, and we're continuing our conversation, Jay, on W. Edwards Deming's 14 points of management. And let's talk about principle 9, which is break down barriers between departments. And like every one of these, I love this because increasingly, I think organizations are siloed. I don't know what's going on over there. You don't know what's going on over there. The person who's in charge of this is making decisions that are going to affect these people over here without necessarily understanding it. But where do you, as a CEO, and you've got kind of a bird's eye view on all these different things, how do we do this? How do we break down barriers between departments? And what are the main pain points? Why is it important that we do this?
So I think, barriers either happen actively or passively. I feel like as an organization grows, you just need more hands to do things. And as you need an organization, the central theme of the word organization is you need to organize. And when you organize, there's going to be a specialization of work that happens. And I feel like, even in our business and as a business owner before, it was like I did everything. I woke up, made the donuts, served the donuts, made the coffee, then swept the floors, cleaned the kitchen, cleaned the bathrooms, turned the lights off, and came back the next day and did it again. It was a nonstop cycle, and it was okay. There was no barriers there because there was no division of labor. There was an organization. And as an organization grows, you will get specialization, as you do need. You will get people who have a particular talent that you want to leverage for all the time that they're working for you in the day. So there is going to become things that people that kind of barrier becomes passively gets created. And I don't think anybody's intention is to create these barriers. So, some places that may be toxic or suboptimal to work in, there may be ego clashes and battles, but I don't think anybody intends to say, okay, I am going to block my department or my reports from working with the other guys. I think the whole thing is like, hey, you're my reports, or our department works on this, let's focus on this. And then when that happens, sometimes and the organization gets larger and larger, we kind of just end up becoming and working in our echo chamber, and we get disconnected from what the bigger goal is. And I think that's where Deming really comes into play, is like, okay, as an organization grows, it needs to grow, it should grow. But these are some of the things that we need to be aware of, that barriers are going to happen. And if barriers are going to happen, we have to actively work on breaking down those barriers so we can work as an organization for one goal. And that is ultimately, it doesn't matter what you're in, it ultimately is making your adding immense value to your customers in a competitive marketplace and being a great place to work for your team.
You make a really great point around specialization and the importance of that, and the necessity of that, so that we can innovate and so that we can distribute and so that we can get the most out of everybody. And you make a great point that then these barriers kind of become insidious, and they're almost a byproduct of scale or a byproduct of growth. How do we focus that energy? What do leaders need to do to focus this? Because part of what I'm hearing you say is we have to all jump to the sort of overall vision. How do we all understand the overall vision so that these barriers, the separation might be natural, or a division of some kind, but that's not the same as a barrier.
Yeah. So I think, again, going back to it, we need something that is a rallying cry.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you do need a purpose that can be shared. Whether even when you're in sales, you want to have that 30-second elevator pitch. When you're an organization, you want to have that one phrase or one sentence that defines your purpose. So then if we are creating these barriers, it's like, look, our common goal is this. There's always a push and pull between the different departments. It could be sales department, production department, engineering department, accounting department. All these different departments, they have a push and pull that's there. Accounting is going to want it their way. Sales wants it their way. Operations and production wants it their way, and engineering and R&D wants it another way. But all those all those different departments, we need to make sure that they have the big picture in mind. And that is really part of leadership's goal is, okay, guys, let's get together. This is how we're going to work in cadence together. This is the reason why we're going to make these decisions. It's not because we don't like you, or sales, you're too aggressive, or accounting, you're too conservative, or R&D, you take forever, or operations. You just need to get you just need to execute at a higher level. Nobody is talking about any of that kind of stuff. Is we're going to have a plan. This is our goal. And this is how we all need to work together to be able to achieve it. And having that constant communication and creating that culture and creating those processes at, I don't know the right term, but just those practices in your organization is part of breaking those barriers down, and which is needed.
What do you think that I should be asking or looking for so you mentioned sales, and I'm thinking about this. Sales is always like, we got to do more, and sales managers are incentivizing their teams to do more, but maybe product design isn't ready for that. Maybe distribution, maybe shipping, maybe manufacturing isn't ready for that. We need to throttle this. Marketing doesn't even have the message. We can all be jumping to different things. What do you encourage your managers to do? Or what do you encourage your sort of departmental leaders to do so that the rank and file can have a better understanding of the big picture of the overall goal?
So I think first of all, we follow EOS. So in EOS, we have our quarterly reviews, and we have our, we go through our VTO and our quarterly goals and our yearly goals and 3-year and 10-year goals with everybody, so we're on the same page. Now, when it comes to execution of that, we have opportunities to leadership has opportunities to talk about them in their quarterlies, and then on a weekly basis we have a chance to talk about those as well. And I think when it comes down to it is, if sales says we need to execute faster, that statement could be 100% valid statement, but then they cannot demand that instantaneously as a reactionary thing to operations. I think if sales says, okay, if we want to grow, we need to decrease our turn time by X, Y, by this many days, and we will be able to land more business or get to revenue faster. That is a cross-functional, cross-departmental conversation that needs to be had, and said, okay, we want to reduce our Z by, ABC days or whatever it is. And how do we achieve that? And then the team is tasked to come up with a solution. The fact the solution has to come up is a non-negotiable. How we get to that solution is negotiable, but it has to be a team approach to be able to break those barriers down and get working working together. It's, how to make the boat go faster. And so it's one of those things is we have to get everybody to row in the same direction, at the same cadence, at the same pace.
We've talked about EOS before and its advantages to you and to your business and to small and mid enterprise and everybody. Is having a framework valuable in this particular sort of illustration of breaking down barriers? Is having that sort of, right away you mentioned we have this, and then quarterly we do this, and temporal, you've got sort of time. Does that help to eliminate guesswork?
I think absolutely. You do need some type of cadence and some type of sort of discipline. I mean, the sun rises every day. We count on it so that we can plan our day and everything works. I think we always need that type of discipline that's there. And one of those things is, as an organization, well, it doesn't matter what you do. Business is a people business, and we need to get the people on the same page, and the energy is going in the right direction, so we can, add value. And whatever the organization's purpose is or personal purpose is, we are able to achieve those.
When you think about that vision, that common vision, so that as we're trying to minimize or eliminate barriers, how often do you revisit that vision? Is it like this is our overall, and we've talked about strategy before and we'll continue to, but how often do you visit sort of, is it a fine tuning thing over time and everybody can sort of understand, or is there, here's a new thing we're going to do, everybody, we're going to try to lead the market in this way, or our mission for 2026 already is X, Y, and Z? Like, how big is that vision for you? And what's your kind of recommendation on that?
I think, the big thing is, one of those visions are, there's a difference between a goal and a purpose. A goal can be achieved. A purpose is something that you always work on, and there are milestones to get there, but purpose is something you have for the entirety of your life. And I think when you talk about, the vision of the organization, it should be something that's overarching, and then that we have different goals that help us achieve and work the vision that we have. So, we have our yearly goals or quarterly goals that are broken down to different measurables, and how to do that is broken down as well. But the fact that the vision should be something that's not changing all the time, because it's important that organizations and companies get the right vision, because if you hire people and you get customers who share a common vision. Now, if I have a great working staff today and I have my vision that I want to do today of my organization and the purpose of my organization, and then next year I change it, that could lead to huge turnover, because then my team members may not align with the vision anymore. And then the customers may not, turn over on both employee side, team member side, and customer side. The customer may not, work on the vision. And, for example, I may be right now working in recyclables or renewable energy. And then next year I said, no, I'm just going to burn hydrocarbons. Well, the customers that I had aren't going to fit my new vision that I have. So I think, really stepping back and taking time into figuring out your purpose and your vision is critical for the longevity of your organization. And that's what's going to really break down the barrier. And once you have that, then you can start creating and bringing those barriers down according to that. And if you get those like-minded people who buy into the vision, then those barriers will still be created, but they will also be easier to break down.
What a fantastic way to sort of bookmark or bookend this discussion. And you make a great point, as you've been doing, around if leadership keeps sort of throwing something different out, that creates barriers. And it's really easy to point at somebody else, some department or some lack of process or something, and say, this is causing division there, without looking sort of at ourselves, right? As executives or as leaders, to say, well, hold on, you're making it harder for everybody to even smooth the path out. You're building barriers without even realizing it. And that's that insidious nature, I think.
Yep.
Thank you, Jay Patel, CEO at Amtech, as we continue our discussion on Principle 9 of Deming's 14 Points Manager. Looking forward to our next one.
Thanks for joining us, and a special thanks to our subscribers and followers. Consider becoming one today wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. Hardware is Forever is designed, tested, engineered, and built by the manufacturing experts at Amtech. Learn more and let us help you envision your next project with a free Design for Manufacturing assessment at buildamtech.com/DFM.